Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's I'm going to be reviewing this Nissan Frontier Pro-4X, and in today's video I'm going to be explaining why you should buy this instead of the new Tacoma. Before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Ken Garf Nissan here in Salt Lake City, Utah for giving me some time with this Frontier. This one and several others are available for sale for the time being, so if you're interested, I'll include a link to their website in the description down below. If you have any questions, just ask for Paul. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Powering this is a naturally aspirated 3.8 liter V6 that goes through a 9-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 18 around town and then 22 on the highway, with power outputs being 310 horsepower and then 281 pound-feet of torque. No hybrid stuff, no turbos, just simple naturally aspirated power. Now, before we go over the front end, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood, you guys can see this is the Boulder Gray, which is such a cool color, and that's why I picked out this particular one to do a video on today. But also, you guys can see it's raised there on either side. Now, coming down below, you guys can see the daytime running lights, and then look at the LED headlamps, really cool design. And then notice how the grille is metallic gray. You've got the Nissan logo in orange to signify this is a Pro-4X. LED fog light action as well, and then at the very bottom you also have the orange tow hooks, which again signifies this is a Pro-4X. We do get skid plate protection underneath, and I actually have taken one of these off-road, and I can tell you the ground clearance really good. But putting it all together, I think this truck just has such a cool front end design with this Pro-4X package. Coming on the side here, our tire and wheel setup is 265/70/17 in the front and over in the rear. And you guys can see here with the wheel design, they give it kind of like a beadlock appearance, which I think just adds to the cool factor. And then yes, we do have these all-terrain tires, which again, I have tested these in the real world and they're actually pretty dang good. Now I've got these big chunky fender flares. You guys can see we've got some splash guard action as well. And then look at the rock rail side step setup. The reason why I say rock rail, you guys can see there at the top portion. And then if you actually want to improve the breakover angle, you can remove the little side steps if you want, which is another cool part of this. And then notice we've got the painted mirror caps, then also the door handles as well. And then of course, Pro-4X there on the bed. Now before I show you guys the side view, you guys can see we've got leaf springs with this truck, and it's kind of hard to see the shocks from this angle, but trust me, it does have shocks. They are Bilstein shocks. And then here is your side view with the Pro-4X. It's really cool to see the lines there on the fenders. It just looks great. Now taking a look at the key fob, you guys can see the new style Nissan logo. We do have a remote start with this, lock and unlock as well, and yeah, just Nissan's normal key fob. And then popping into the bed, notice the tailgate is dampened, so it does slow lower down. We do have some protection here on the tailgate as well. And then also for the bed, also all protected. You've got some cargo tie-down sliders, which is also a really cool feature, and LED bed light action there. And then it also has a full outlet here in the bed on top of that. And when it comes to mid-size pickup trucks, I mean, this is a spacious bed. I would say it's on the larger side of beds compared to what I've seen, especially with the width. I think the width is really impressive. Now lifting this up, super light to be honest. And then you guys can see the Nissan logo there, Frontier, and then Pro-4X. And then look at the new style taillights. I think those are also really cool looking. Parking sensors here at the bottom, then you guys can see the receiver hitch at the very bottom. Now sorry about the lighting with this shot, but anyways, let me know what you guys think about the looks of the new Nissan Frontier. Now taking a look at the door panel on the rear, you guys can see the padding here at the top, and then look at the orange stitching down below. That's really cool. And then you guys can see a little insert right there. It's kind of like a carbon fiber print. And there's actually more down below. This is actually for protection, which is pretty cool. And then that theme continues onto the seats again with the orange stitching, and you can see the design down the center, and then again with the carbon fiber print there on the side. Now there is also a strap there on the top of the seat, and that'll let you access, well, behind the seat. Now there's this little lever right here, and that lets you pick up the seat itself, and you guys can see underneath right there, and you can do the same thing with the other side too. Now when it comes to legroom for a mid-size pickup truck, it's actually very strong, so I think that's a big plus with the Frontier, and it has a grab handle. Those are always important. We don't have a pocket here, but we do have one on the passenger side, which is kind of funny. And then you guys can see the connectivity part of it with some outlet action and everything. And then of course we actually do have a cup holder armrest here in the back. And then I do believe, yeah, this is manual with the operation there with the window, which again, pretty typical with mid-size pickup trucks. And then when it comes to the headroom, I've got like a little bit of space above me. Now taking a look at the front door panel, you guys can see again with the padding, and then look at the orange stitching down below. And then we've got all of our window controls. Front one is automatic. We've got a door lock and unlock, and then the mirror adjustments. And then you guys can see the mirrors do have blind spot monitoring. And then look at the orange trim there, and then again with the carbon fiber print. And then we do have the Fender sound system with this, which I've tested in real life, and it's a solid sound system. Now, for those of you wondering, we've got 1,050 pounds of payload capacity. And then here are the seats. You guys can see again with the orange stitching, PRO-4X there. And then just look at the design down the center, and then cool with the carbon fiber print. All of our power adjustments here on the side, and then PRO-4X yet again. And then pretty normal looking pedal layout. And they've got a bunch of controls here. So this is for the rear locking differential. That's for the stability control. You've got your cargo lamp, you've got your hill descent control, and that's for the safety tech. We also have our tow haul, or tow mode rather. And then you guys can see for the outlets to turn that on. And then the steering wheel itself is manually adjustable. Now, taking a look at the steering wheel, I really like the trim all around. It has this super nice durable feel to it, and then you've got the contrasted stitching on the center to match all of the rest of the orange accents. This does come with adaptive cruise control. You've got volume controls, voice command controls as well, and then just some general controls there for the center, and then turn signal light stalk, and then your windshield wiper stalk. Now, taking a look at the gauge cluster itself, you can see analog on either side, and then we do have a screen here which we can basically use to scroll through a bunch of different bits of info here on the vehicle. This is where I think Nissan might have gone a little bit over the top, but it is, you know, I'd rather have more information than less information when it comes to a vehicle. My favorite is obviously the off-road status, so it shows you, you know, that we're in two-wheel drive. It also shows you pitch and roll as well, which is really cool. Now, in reverse, we actually have a 360 camera system, so we've got trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel. You got that bird's eye view as well. And then if I actually put it into park and press the camera button, this will actually pull on the camera system. You can see the front camera view on top of that. And then you got like the side view. And so, yeah, every single angle is covered. Now, as for the infotainment system, first off, physical buttons. That's really cool. That's definitely a big plus. A lot of modern cars are getting rid of those. And even for like the volume and everything, I think that's great. And then as for the response time of the screen itself, it's actually really good, as you can see. And the physical buttons actually kind of help out with just accessing different elements. But this is something I've kind of noticed in the car industry. Infotainment systems like this that don't necessarily look the most modern end up performing the best, because like the big fancy screens, those usually have tons of lag, whereas this, I mean, you can see it just pretty much pulls right up. Now, you guys can see the material use on the dash. This would be really easy to clean off, and we actually have some storage there at the top. And then I love this. It's hard to see with the sun, but you can see the stitching that goes across. And then we of course have some more charging action. Dual zone climate with this particular Frontier. And then you guys can see we've got our driveline select. We have 2-wheel high, 4-wheel high, and then you can push in for your 4-wheel low, so 2-speed transfer case. And then we've got heated seats up front, and then you can see heated steering wheel. We've got for the parking sensors, and then some more charging action. Now you do have some storage right there at the bottom, and then we have our shifter for the 9-speed automatic transmission. Some cup holder action right here, and then you guys can see wireless phone charging pad. And then look at the center console. It's pretty nice again with the stitching and the padding. Good storage space. Again, pretty solid for a mid-size pickup truck. And then with the glove box, I'd say pretty typical overall. And then we do have a sunroof up top, which also obviously kind of makes it feel more open. And then you got the control for the sunroof just right there. And then it does have a sunglass holder. It seems like cars are getting rid of those. So here's our window sticker for this particular Frontier, and another reason for you guys to subscribe is once we get the 24s in, I'll obviously have a review on the 24 Frontier as well. But notice how a lot of stuff is standard equipment. There's your base MSRP, $38,900. This does have some options added to, well, quite a few options added to it, as you can see. I definitely think that these extra packages are worth it if you're going to keep this vehicle for a long time, just because it adds to the kind of like the premium feel. So like this package right here, for example, obviously a bunch of modern safety tech. I guess if you live out in the middle of nowhere, maybe you won't care about that as much. But I think this is stuff that pretty much everyone would care about. And then obviously the off-road stuff, I think that's always important. I mean, it's a PRO-4X ultimately. Anyways, you guys can see the total MSRP, $48,790. And now let's get into phase 2 of my argument here for this against the Tacoma. So this is the part where we bring in the new Tacoma. So the reason why I did that whole walk around was to show you guys the build quality on the new Frontier, and then also to show you the features and the whole setup, so that when we talk about the fact that the new Tacoma is turbocharged or turbocharged with a hybrid powertrain, we can talk about how this is way more simplistic. And I'm sure that Toyota's powertrain is going to be reliable when you compare it to other turbocharged powertrains, other hybrid powertrains, but it surely won't be as reliable as a good old-fashioned Big displacement, naturally aspirated V6. The thing that I've been saying about this new Frontier for quite some time is this is what the new Tacoma should have been, right? Basically, an updated Tacoma in the form of a more modern transmission like the 9-speed that this has, and then a slightly updated interior, again, like what the Frontier has, but still staying true to its roots by having a naturally aspirated engine that is big in displacement and very reliable. And so I feel like this is where the Frontier is absolutely going to continue to shine in this market. I know there's a lot of Toyota people that are just diehard about the Tacoma, like no matter what Toyota does, they will always buy a Tacoma, but I would just be open to the new Frontier, especially considering everything that Toyota is doing with the new Tacoma, and frankly what I've seen with the other new product from Toyota. I mean, the new Tundra and Sequoia I think are a good example, and it looks like the Tacoma has a lot of elements from those vehicles where it just seems like the build quality isn't as good as what it used to be with Toyotas, and it really does, like I made a video talking about this, but it really does seem like Nissan is becoming Toyota in the sense of, again, they're like, look at the Titan. That's another good example. Big, naturally aspirated V8, no turbos, no cylinder deactivation, no hybrid, nothing. Like, it's just simplistic. So yeah, if you happen to be looking at the new Tacoma or the current generation Tacoma, the 2023 Tacoma, check out the Frontier, because this, in my opinion, is the true successor to the current generation Tacoma, because again, big naturally aspirated engine, really good build quality, super reliable, just simplistic vehicle. I'll see you.